Hello, hello, and hello, and welcome to a very, very special episode of the NXT and We podcast with PJ and Brett. Now, we're Brettless today, but it is the NXT TakeOver special that we have been teasing all week, and we are joined by my good friend and friend of the pod. He is a very special man when it comes to these very important episodes that we call takeovers, that they call takeovers. It is my pleasure to introduce, first of all, myself. Hi, it's PJ. And my good friend, Takeover Tom. Tom, I mean, this is awesome, man.
It is so cool. Like, we are in a studio right now doing this thing 100% legit. I am so excited to be here. We are missing Brett, but hey, Tom's ready to take over.
I mean, you're ready to go. I can feel the energy, my friend. And like you said, you know, we miss Brett, and we love Brett, and he'll be here soon. He'll be here joining us for the first episode of the Tuesday night editions of NXT. But that's not what we're here to talk about, Tom. We are here to talk about some very pressing matters, and that was the incredible 2-night extravaganza that we got. That is NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver this past Wednesday and Thursday nights. Before I get into the first thing I want to get into, just want to hear your initial, just off-the-cuff reactions, thoughts of the whole 2 days in and of itself.
So the whole thing was a takeover. So it was basically like a double dose. And so when you have something as excellent as any takeover is, times 2, that's just double the fun. And the entire card was fantastic, top to bottom.
First of its kind, too, right, with the 2 nights?
Absolutely.
So,
first NXT 2-night event.
Yeah. So, you know, piggybacking off of last year's...
Well, at least consecutive 2 nights, because they did have the one towards the beginning of the COVID era where they had 2 weeks in a row.
True. Yeah, it was back-to-back weeks, and they considered them takeovers. You're right.
Yep.
But the first of its kind with the back-to-back awesome wrestling, Wednesday night 1, which is which we'll get to first, obviously, was on the USA Network on Wednesday, the last of its kind, the last NXT that will be on Wednesday nights. So It was definitely a way to go out, I will say for sure. And you know what? They went out, Tom, with the ratings victory over AEW, which... Look, we try not to get into this stuff. We are aware of AEW and what they do. We're not an AEW podcast. We're not even really a WWE podcast. We're not a Raw Smack. We're strictly NXT and we. And so we try
all black and gold.
All black and gold all day. But from time to time, and I was very interested for this, and I don't know, I imagine you were too, to find out what the ratings ended up being because of the fact that it was one night, which was USA and Peacock, and then as me and you enjoyed on Thursday, just on Peacock.
Right.
But here are the numbers. You know, obviously it was a takeover, so we can expect NXT to win. But I was a little skeptical. I actually went into it thinking that there was a chance AEW would take the TV ratings, but then I knew that you would have to take into consideration the Peacock, however they do that conversion or whatever. But NXT was able to, it wasn't quite 100,000, but it was 768K to 688K AEW. So that's just strictly for USA. However, and it's been the case pretty much the entire run of the Wednesday night war, if you want to call it that, which I know a lot of people do.
They do.
It's all but one of the weeks that the shows have competed, Dynamite still brought in the higher rating in the key demo with a 0.28 to NXT's 0.22. Before we dive into it, Tom, I just want to touch on that really quickly. A part of me, yes, that's the key. The key, again, I throw air quotes in there, demo.
Mm-hmm.
But first of all, WWE in itself caters to all ages.
It certainly does.
AEW, on the other hand, strictly caters to that demo, and I mean demo god Jericho.
Absolutely.
That's what he wants, and that's how they gauge their success, right? I mean, whereas NXT, excuse me, they're going to take that as a win, which they should.
Absolutely.
But they don't go after that. They're going after the 30, 40 somethings that have kids now, and they say, hey, this is kind of what I watched when I was younger, or hey, like this is or so and so. I remember so and so from this day, and stuff like that. And I think the ratings in general, AEW guys, and again, not trying to, you know what, screw that. I will take this as a victory as an NXT stan. I will say, yeah, screw you AEW, we beat you, but that. Again, that wasn't the case for the entire time, but hey, alas, here we are.
You can absolutely make that argument that it existed, but honestly, I believe it was fabricated. Like, AEW and NXT almost had like a symbiotic relationship in that it got both sets of fans more excited to war off each other, and it recreated the feeling of the Monday Night Wars back in the day. Yeah. That said, if we're talking about actual competition, ratings don't tell the whole story anymore. When we were in the cable age, it certainly told a huge chunk of the story because you had to be tuned in to watch it. But, I mean, how many people just catch up on YouTube? Like, you can monetize those YouTube views. Yeah. So the show could have a larger audience than the ratings really give you. And one thing that makes this hit really close to home for me is that I was a really humongous fan of the TV show Community. And that is a show that got really harsh treatment from the network because it didn't have TV ratings. But they found that millions of people are watching online. And that is something that you can monetize. So it is not an unsuccessful show. So based on the fact that we're in the information age and still talking about cable ratings, doesn't really mix for me because I'm never going to contribute to cable ratings. And I don't have cable.
There you go. And what we do, however, judge it on, Tom, and we'll get right into it now, is the X's, the quality, and just the overall entertainment of these shows. That's what we're here to break down. That's what we bring you week in and week out here on the NXT and We podcast with PJ and Brett, and today, TakeOver Tom. Night one. Let's just jump right into it as they did with a banger. I know you wanted this, but we were able to finagle it, so you got the match you wanted to cover. But I will just for the people, we're gonna kind of just throw it back and forth. It's 2 nights that we're trying to cover in a decent amount of time here, so we'll let's take over time. This is a specialty.
2 shows for the price of 1.
This is the co-host. We're co-hosts. It's no Brett. Love Brett. He'll have some input though going forward, as people will have to pick up on as we go. So. We start off with the match that was made kind of, not really out of nowhere, but it stemmed from the previous Battle Royal and then shenanigans with Dunne claiming to be the best technical wrestler of all time, which I love. We're going to get D-Bry versus Dunne soon. Yeah, I know. I would die. Pete Dunne and Kushida, I love the fire. I love the fire out of the gate. Hot start. And, my first 2 notes, man, are hot start, love the fire. This has been good. So, if those are your first 2 notes for a match, we're looking pretty good. The orange crush on the apron was great in the beginning. The arm in the ropes was good. I thought it was a theme for the whole show. It was getting this physical. Both nights for sure. But this set the tone for what was to come. Strike starting with the stomp on Shida's face was a Mamma Mia for me. Pete Dunne was literally just stomping on the man's face. Let's see. The Mamma Mia for me, basement drop kick to the face.
Yeah.
And then we had a wonderful looking back elbow that I think we're going to see. Right. Look at this. Bang.
Bang.
Right on. And I love let's see that one more time. Ready? Bang.
Oh,
and
he's so stiff.
So clean on the, I actually was talking with Brett about it. So shout out Brett already. The entrance ramp being attached to the ring like that. AEW, I believe, does that pretty much for every show.
Week,
yeah. So where we were discussing, because I like that visual, but it's so much more special that they only do it for it feels like NXT only brings it out.
And it's not even every takeover.
Exactly, it's not even. And so when we see it, we're like, oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
It's a nice change of pace,
and it allows for certain spots like that.
Absolutely, it does. So, which they utilize that throughout the entire 2 nights.
I was gonna say we have more. So just
stiff.
Getting started. The run he did Kushida did this long running arm kick from back,
all the way down,
down the ramp, which was really good. I mean, dude, just so clean. The digit snapping will never not be gross, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's hard to watch.
anytime somebody just takes somebody's fingers and snaps them is never good, and that's usually done by Dunne. But here it was Kushida. We eventually see it from. Here it is right here. This is classic Dunne. Bang.
So hard to watch.
I mean, that's just it cringeworthy, man.
It is.
It is cringeworthy stuff, and I'll never not look at that and be like, that must have sucked.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can only gimmick that so much.
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
Oh.
you're literally pulling somebody's fingers apart, and you just got to eat it,
Dude. So around that time, there was a small. I don't know if it wasn't as like Tyler. I don't know if you remember Tyler Black. Excuse me, doing it. The small package driver.
Yeah,
Kushida busted
he
that
brought
out.
it out one time in the WWE.
Tyler Black.
Yeah,
Or Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins at this
Yeah,
point, but yeah, he did it one time in the WWE.
And then they were probably like, this is too dangerous. I tried it once and I kneed myself in the face. So this was on USA.
Yep.
Fortunately, and then actually you told me to switch to Peacock, which I did.
Yes.
So this is the only time it's going to happen, folks. And well, knock on wood, hopefully we will see going forward. Maybe this is the way we're going to continue to watch
Live
shows.
NXT
So
shows,
yeah,
yeah.
Peacock, yeah.
Yep.
The PIP was awful on USA. It was awful. I mean, I could not believe we were getting it. I thought they would somehow work out a way where there was no commercials. I really thought.
Especially on a takeover.
That's what I'm saying. It was
Yeah,
just so egregious. And then that's when and then you said, we were talking and you were just like, there's no commercials on Peacock. I'm like, because I didn't actually end up finishing night one all on the same night, but
I marked out for that.
the fact that there's
Like,
no PIP.
I was voicing my just glee. It was amazing to see, like, oh, we're gonna go to picture-in-picture. Sigh.
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't go
They
anywhere.
didn't go. I get to watch it.
Yeah.
So,
So we
yeah.
got to see every little bit of it. It was a little awkward because they didn't say like we're sticking around. They just kind of kept on going.
Yeah.
You just kind of had to assume. And then they were like, "We're back from commercial." And I was like, "Okay,
Whatever.
cool."
No, yeah. I mean, when watching it going forward on that, it didn't really bother me. It didn't take away
Yeah.
from the match at all, unlike the PIPs. So this is actually the only time I get upset with PIPs. So
Mhm.
people would rejoice on that. But I don't. You know what? I like complaining about the PIPs. So leave me alone. The double down with the punch to the face from Kushida, that was great. I mean, I love that move, but he doesn't always hit it so cleanly that he did here, and stiff, I guess you would use is the word you would use. Then that led to the flipping hoverboard from the top rope.
That's
so,
my favorite move.
dude, just oh my gosh, these
That's
guys
my
were
favorite thing that Kushida does is it's like a modified Spanish fly.
yeah, and
Yeah.
with a submission on.
Yeah.
And it was just
And he just rolls right through it. It's amazing.
So then there was another moment it was after that he had the hoverboard lock in and then went down into a pin. So Pete Dunne was getting pinned and Kushida was pinning Dunne, but Dunne then slapped on either a guillotine or some kind of submission so that they both had to reach for the rope break at the same time.
Yeah.
And I loved that.
Yeah.
And then with the handwork with with the finger snapping, Kushida then hits one more of his straight right hands, but then has to sell the hand, which eventually led to the bitter end.
Which
well, I mean, there's some stuff happening before that, but just really a lot of my notes, man, were just this is awesome, this is amazing, everything is clean, gross,
so clean.
Yeah, and like I said, man, perfect start to the show. I couldn't have asked for anything better. I want to see this happen again. I don't know if they will. I don't know if that's the direction they're going in. You think so?
Can. I think they can.
I think they should.
I mean, for me, they didn't prove who was the better technician.
That's a good point.
Because they like you said, they both had to grab the rope at the same time. So they really equaled each other in the technical aspect. And then it was Pete Dunne's more like roughneck and like he hit his finisher and pinned. Yeah. So it's not like he made him tap out or
wasn't
anything
a technical
like that.
win, yeah.
But I mean, talk about the start of a show. We come in with Nikita Strauss is her name, the guitar player who did the national anthem.
Yep.
and instantly glee because there were fans there. And so we had, for the first time in so long, the NXT universe back in there and rooting on their people.
And a lot more fans, too.
And
Nice.
more fans, yeah. And then we get Pete Dunne comes out to a new entrance.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, new
I
music.
didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, new music, and then the
Oh,
logo was different.
You know, when I was watching it earlier and I had the volume down.
Yeah,
I
go
did
back
end
and
up-
watch that
yeah,
because
I'll have to
the
catch
new
that.
entrance is definitely, he's standing out. And
Yeah.
when I heard the new music, I messaged you and Brett at the same time. I was like, I really wish I could change my points on Dunne from 2 to 5 because you don't lose the match when you debut new music and new graphics.
That is what you did. Yes, you're
So,
right. You're right. Well,
that would have been really nice, but of course I didn't know that going in.
that's true.
And that could have either been a really good way to elevate Kushida or a good way to continue putting over Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
Since he has lost a little bit of momentum in the failed title hunt and then being eliminated from the Battle Royal before the 6.
Yeah.
So Pete Dunne getting the win was important. And on top of that, they just really beat the crap out of each other.
Yes, sir.
The one thing that was even harder to watch than the fingers was when Kushida's arm was kind of up and bent, and Dunne just stomped the crap out of his arm. It looked like he broke it right then and there. It was gnarly looking.
These guys took some liberties, but they made it through, and a great, like you said, great start to the show. Great start to the weekend. The two. Yeah, I keep wanting to say weekend, but it wasn't.
WrestleMania week.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
it
where
was
we are.
the good kickoff to WrestleMania week for sure. I had this between 4.25 and 4.75. My friend.
Wow.
What did you have this at? Yeah, I really like this.
So my last thought on it was that it was a little bit shorter than I expected.
It was.
Because both of those guys have insane conditioning.
They packed a lot into.
They did
that
pack a
match,
lot
yeah.
into short amount of time. So I had 4 X's at the end of the match, and I think after talking about it and like how much I enjoyed that match and how much I enjoy these two guys, I can up it to 4.25.
There you go. I'm settling on the lower side of my rankings.
I mean, the only thing I can say is I wanted more of it, you know?
Yeah.
So it was great.
Yeah, and if you could say that after a 4.25x match,
Yeah.
then you're sitting pretty good. So
Absolutely.
I'll like I said, we're gonna ricochet this.
Taking
not the
turns.
wrestler, yeah.
All right. So TakeOver Tom's taking over for the delayed entry Eliminator Gauntlet. It's the first time we've ever said that because we've never seen a match like this with these rules.
It was interesting.
Yeah, we had.
I liked it.
The delayed entry was really cool because like there's only so many times you get delayed entry. Usually when you have a gauntlet, it's one-on-one, 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 one-on-one.
It was a combination of a gauntlet and which is why they ended up with the gauntlet eliminator. I imagine is because it was a combination of a gauntlet and a scramble.
Yep.
Yeah. So
and you can get eliminated at any point. Luckily, we had a lot of time from each individual person. Everybody got the chance to shine. And I did say this on the Inquisition, the half episode that we did, in that this is a really good opportunity to get a lot of these guys out onto TakeOver that you don't always get to see. And so when we start off this match, we already had story built right in because Leon Ruff and Swerve were the first 2 contestants. And we knew that right from the get-go because we knew the order of the contestants.
Yep.
So we knew it was coming. And it delivered real quick. So the first thing we saw is Ruff and Swerve going at it. And then there was a drive-by, which we have a clip of, that just looked so sweet.
Oh, man.
Dude, everything Isaiah Swerve Scott has done since this heel turn.
He's so mean.
It's so mean, so vicious.
It's just a mean
we got another one of those corner throws later on in the match, and it just everything that everything he's been doing to Leon Ruff has absolutely looked insanely brutal. And so there was a lot of really cool spots just between the two of them before anybody else came out. For instance, one of the cool things that happened was Ruff stomped the absolute hell out of Isaiah Swerve Scott's hands. And I love that because my mind went straight to Pete Dunne, and then I hear Wade Barrett say, "Someone's been watching Pete Dunne there."
That was a good one.
And so I was like, man, right on the same wavelength, Wade.
And before you move on, he had a tweet. Dunne actually tweeted out, I think it was after night one, because a lot of people throughout the 2 nights did hand or like footwork.
Yep.
And like we'll get to some of them, but it was he was like, "This is you got this from me."
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Pete Dunne is definitely, his influence is spreading, and that's just great. I mean, I always considered him one of the top 5 wrestlers in the world, and he's only gotten better.
He's so young still too.
But moving on with Ruff and Swerve here, that slingshot in between the ropes was brutal looking. And some people kind of, see bouncy and kind of think less of it. But it hurts to even run the ropes.
Oh, yeah.
Bouncing off the ropes hurts like hell. It is not a padded chain. It is just like a covering, like a vinyl covering. Right?
So one thing I would say to anybody who think, wrestling is this, wrestling is that, go run the ropes like for a good minute and a half, and then tell me how your back feels or your ass for that matter.
So what, like, Ruff is just selling for everything.
He's like Gumby.
Yeah, and my next point on him, everything that Ruff does, like all the offense he gets is usually a counter. So his best offense is a good D. And that's okay. I like that because it's different. And, most guys have a lot more focus on their offense, but Leon Ruff usually looks like he's in a point of defense and he's the underdog, straight up.
Look at him.
He's the classic, he's going to be an eternal underdog.
I love Ruff, but I mean, just look at the guy.
I know, yeah. Like, he's tiny, but he does really, really fun things. And I really like what they're doing with him there. And that brings us right to when Bronson Reed enters. Leon Ruff did go for some offense, but it didn't go so well. We can take a look at that clip where Bronson was on his way to the ring, and Leon Ruff, he takes that jump, and he gets caught. And so that was just a really rude awakening for Leon Ruff. Bronson Reed got to enter really, really strong. He started, obviously he came in hot. And then there was a delayed suplex where Bronson had Swerve up, and then Leon Ruff did a cross body. So it was a cool little double team there.
Yep. It was like a Tower of Doom, except Bronson had
it was almost like
Swerve up in the suplex, and then
Doomsday
Ruff did
device.
Except upside down. With a cross body.
Yeah.
I liked it.
That was really, really cool.
I had I had a Mamma Mia just right after that, actually twice, where Bronson went straight up Yokozuna and just sat on Ruff twice, like legitimately just sat on him, and I thought that was really mean.
Whenever I see that happen, oh my god, like he really dropped on him too. And I mean, Ruff just has that narrow body.
God, he killed him.
So it just looks like he just got crushed.
That's so mean.
And the one thing that always comes to my mind when I see stuff like that is Michael Scott from The Office. He has the character Fat Mike. He's like, I sit on you, and so that's what I think of. I always say I sit on you whenever people do that. And we don't get too many people just dropping on people's chests anymore, so it's nice to see Bronson Reed really making that look good.
And then after that Yokozuna, we had what'll probably end up, honestly, it's up there for possible Mamma Mia of the night with this. I'll let the clip and you take us into this right here.
Yes. So that double German suplex.
At least one more time.
Yeah.
My goodness.
The reason why I almost, I said it could be the Mamma Mia
both
of the
died.
night already. It was my first huge Mamma Mia of the night.
How do they do that? I don't even
It's
understand.
that air that Ruff got, man.
Yeah.
It was so insane.
Well,
he's well over the top rope.
And I said this to Brett. Swerve takes the biggest bump on that because he's caught in the middle. Like
Yeah.
Ruff is just bumping around like Gumby anyway,
Right.
and then Swerve has to not only get Ruff over, but then he has to rely on Reed getting him over enough, which he did. But he landed, like if you watch the landing, he's like high up on his shoulders, like whereas Ruff, like I said, Gumby, he's fine.
Absolutely. So we got that double suplex, Mamma Mia, of course, and then guess where the next contestant takes us?
To the moon.
Cameron Grimes coming out to. I just love his theme song that he has with the banjo and the rapping and to the moon. It is gold. We get Cameron Grimes on a takeover. It is exactly where he belongs.
Good to see him,
And he comes out and he just proves why he's gold. Because not only is he just a fantastic entertainer, throwing his money around, trying to buy the other members of this match, successfully buying Swerve for a bit.
Yeah.
And then he also shows that he's fantastic in the ring in the same 30 seconds. Because the first thing he does, he hops on that second turnbuckle, and man, that moonsault was just a thing of beauty.
Yep.
And then they started working together. We got that corner spot where Swerve just throws Ruff straight up into the turnbuckle.
Aforementioned.
And then we got the money shot. That made the spot just evolve. Like it was a callback to what he's been doing to Ruff already, but then Grimes just adds his little twist onto it, little signature by throwing the little stack of bills. And that was just really, really entertaining to watch.
Oh, dude. I mean, I don't want to get into too much of an echo chamber, but that's that's all I can say. I mean, if you listen to the podcast, you know mine and Brett's affinity for that man, Cameron Grimes.
Oh,
to the moon.
And I agree full-heartedly. Yeah. When I first saw Cameron Grimes in NXT, I was like, oh, Trevor Lee's here? Okay. And that was because I never really paid too much attention to TNA. I just knew that, like, he was obnoxious. Yeah. And then I watched him in the ring. And everything changed from there. Moving on to somebody entering the match that has kind of the opposite story, where it wasn't love at first sight, but he's growing on me. Dexter, I know, especially Brett seems to really just not be enjoying this.
I'm kind of coming on Brett's
Dexter
side,
Loomis is getting better every time he's out there. You didn't like those slingshot suplexes, man?
I did.
Those look really, really nice.
I have a couple of nice things to say about Loomis here.
I was worried that he was just going to come in and stand in the corner. Like, I wrote a note, like, betcha he just stands in the corner doing nothing.
He should have.
And then right from the get-go, he has Bronson Reed on the ramp, and he gets a nice stiff right to him, and then I think it was Cameron Grimes tried to come over the rope on him, and he got him right back in two, and then the suplexes, and I think he just is getting better and better. And then what happened with that ring out?
Oh, because when
he got caught up on the ropes.
Yeah, Loomis and Grimes when they go over the top.
It was nasty. Reckless.
Yeah,
it was absolutely reckless.
It's a bad landing.
Just, I feel like I watched Cameron Grimes save Dexter's life there. And that just goes to show that Cameron Grimes is an experienced guy who can get the job done.
So I do know that we'll get through these.
I mean, this is 6 guys.
Oh, no. I know. That's what I mean. It's like we got a lot to cover still in the match. But I just to point on the Loomis stuff. So I was originally all in on Loomis. Came out to basically the Stranger Things theme song. They've since changed it, but it was basically the Stranger Things theme song. And I enjoyed the shtick. I really there was something about him. And he still is different. Mm-hmm. But he's so boring, man. He is so boring. And I said it with Brett, and then we'll move on. But after your thoughts on this, but Loomis doesn't make anybody else better. Mm-hmm. Everybody he wrestles makes him better.
Absolutely.
And as to your point with Grimes literally saved his life.
Mhm.
So
Grimes is one of the guys that can make people look better, and that's why he should really be getting these opportunities.
100%. So there you go.
Moving on, we have our newcomer.
Yeah.
LA Knight hops into the building.
Oh yeah.
And I really hope that his entrance from here on out is a promo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like every time he comes to the ring, he talks about how stupid his opponents look and how he's LA Knight and he's going to be the guy who's on top. And it's entertaining as all hell. He talked about how he was going to punt Cameron Grimes to the moon. Like you're tying everything together there, and it is just a beautiful way.
Yeah, he did a good job of doing it.
And enter yourself into this.
Yeah.
Because everybody needs a chance to stand out in one way or another. So yeah, I mean, LA Knight, of course, he's very entertaining in the ring. The delayed entry elevator just felt really fresh, and wait, sorry, that was a typo. The whole concept of this match just felt so fresh, and everything just looked so good. The thing that I was thinking of actually was when LA Knight went over the top rope and Bronson Reed caught him.
Yeah,
and hit him.
drop.
It was just a crazy looking Samoan
Clean.
drop. So clean. And then there goes the pick'em. Every single one of us had Dexter Lumis at 4 points on the pick'em for this match. And there he goes. He's gone.
So I just needed to throw this out there. Shout out Brett. Mamma Mia for me will always so obligatory. If there's ever a top rope superplex, that's automatically a Mamma Mia for me. It doesn't matter how it's done. Shout out Pat McAfee because LA Knight did I know other guys have done it since, but shout out Pat McAfee for the brand. Where LA Knight did showed off his athleticism, jumped to the top rope and did the superplex to Lumis. That was
I
really
have
good.
that on here too. Just LA Knight gets right up to the top rope.
He's a really talented. He moves really well, and I'm very, like you said, I'm here for him. Like I similarly to how I was with Lumis and how I've now fallen off a little bit, but I'm here for LA Knight. He has my attention. That's what all you can ask for, right?
Absolutely.
And but yeah, and dude, Lumis elimination was great, but also big shock. I really liked how it was done, but shocker.
Yeah, I think that it was a shocker. It really made that moment really good. And then I have a couple lines down on my night, because Dexter Lumis put him to sleep because he was mad that he eliminated him. So night.
That took me a second.
So at that point, we were down to the final three of Bronson Reed, Isaiah Swerve Scott, and Cameron Grimes. Given that Johnny Gargano was a heel of heels and Swerve and Grimes are heels of heels, at that point, we kind of knew, well, I kind of knew that Bronson Reed was going to win. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, well, the ending is kind of already in the books. Let's just have fun. So we had Bronson Reed catching Swerve upside down.
That was great.
That was really good. It was a really chaotic run down there until Grimes ended up getting rolled up. And then we had that really cool exchange between Isaiah Swerve Scott and Bronson Reed. Isaiah was getting a lot of offense, and those house calls looked really good. The first one, wow, that sound! Was that a thigh slap?
Oh well, I mean, I wouldn't.
I think there may have been a good thigh slap.
I wouldn't doubt it,
but
but he was still connecting.
Yeah, he certainly did. And of course, when you got somebody like Bronson Reed who's got some mass to him,
girth,
exactly,
girthy boy, thick boy.
And so I mean, you just can't keep Bronson Reed down. They really, it's something that they've been building him up so slowly over time, and then this was that breakout type performance where it's okay, this guy deserves where he's at. Yeah. So the whole match was a bunch of fun. Bronson Reed, of course, wins. Kind of became obvious at the final three of who was going to win, so kind of took away some of the suspense towards the end. So my final rating of this one is 3.5.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, just a couple things I wanted to add to that. When we got to the final three, the strike sequence that ended with Bronson just like falling backwards onto the two of them was I thought that was really good.
That was really good.
Mamma Mia.
I thought that should have been a pin though. Like I thought if
yeah,
they should have stayed in the pile.
Yeah,
but they all
and
kind
then
of broke
he would have
apart.
gotten the pin.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's like we just said thick boy falling on you like that. That's gonna suck anyway. No matter how he falls. The Mamma Mia for the swerve line bump into the Grimes' Spanish Fly with Reed this time. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Loved the double handful of tights. Turnabout is fair play. Classic trope. The Mamma Mia power slam on the apron. Let's see. The house calls were great, but he hit like 4 or 5 of them, man, and I could not believe Bronson kept kicking out. Like, I get it, and I appreciate that they're building him up that way, especially for his upcoming match the next night. But either way, he did this move, and he did it in night 2 against Gargano. I don't know if you caught it or so right before the tsunami, he has him in like a Alabama Slam type deal, and so he's got his legs like this, and then the head is like right near the ass.
Yep.
And he just kind of jumped and then sat out.
Yes.
That was they didn't both nights they didn't even.
It was like a kind of a driver.
Yeah. But both nights they didn't even refer to it, and there was no replays.
Right.
So I was floored. Mamma Mia, I had just what the hell.
Yeah.
It was actually literally WTH.
There was definitely a good amount of really high impact stuff in that match. Yeah. And actually one of them was Bronson's bump on the apron.
Yeah. Yep.
That was bonkers.
Yeah, the power slam. Yep.
I think that the power slam onto the apron was just, it looked crazy, and I wrote that
killed him.
I would think that would be something that they can tell in the next night's story, and focusing on the back and midsection.
And such is life. So
such is life.
I had this at between 4 and 4.5 X's, my friend.
Wow.
But after discussing it, I am going to go on the low side again with my 4 X's.
Okay.
I think it deserves the 4, and it kept me wildly entertained. I think the only thing knocking it from a 4.25 is the fact that once we got to the final 3, the ending was pretty, Yeah. All right. So moving on, we get to my favorite match of the 2 nights.
Okay.
TakeOver Tom. I cannot. Okay. I say that, and I cannot guarantee it will end up being my highest rated, but it is my favorite match.
Okay.
Regardless. Walter, Ring General Walter, taking on Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT UK Championship. Oh, man. First of all, 730 days is a long time. I loved the little tail of tapes they were doing, by the way.
Can we put an asterisk on that, though? Because
no asterisk.
He didn't have defenses. He didn't defend the title.
Doing a fart noise in the mic.
I mean, it's not his fault, but like...
I don't care.
He didn't defend the title.
730 days.
He wasn't wrestling.
730 days.
Asterisks.
730 days.
Asterisk.
Okay. 730 days. Okay.
Asterisk.
This... all right, I'll have to let it go. This could be brutal, and it was just man. It obviously ended up becoming, and it's the way that they've been going with Walter. I love that his signature move is a chop with his just giant tree trunk like arms. It's believable.
Yeah.
If he chops me, he kills me. That literally stops my heart.
We had at one point there was a quintessential chop in wrestling, and of course it was Ric Flair.
Which wasn't even like signature.
It was just a chop. And the chop has since evolved. I mean, we had the Big Show, the shh.
True.
And now Walter is the quintessential chop in wrestling.
In all of pro wrestling, yep. Let's see.
I even compared Dunn's chops to Kushida to his before.
Yeah. Oh, first. Yeah.
They made loud noises.
Loud noises. The chop that breaks the desk. That was awesome. Just a great visual
cool.
And like
I wish they didn't zoom in so much on the desk because
after
you
the
could
fact.
see that it was gimmicked.
Yeah, I know. Actually, it's funny.
Of course, we know it's going to be gimmicked. Like he's not actually going to risk injuring his hand.
It was a cool visual, but I actually could have done without the close up that they didn't do it until later in the match either, but they eventually did. But still, cool visual. Just showed, and right then and there, I knew he had to hit because then the handwork started happening. After he hits the table, and Ciampa's like, I have to work his hand, which I love. And you knew, first of all, I really didn't see Ciampa winning this match.
It's impossible. How would he go defend UK?
It's a pipe dream, but whatever. Second of all, I did know without a shadow of a doubt that he had to hit one more big chop to win the match. Like, that was what they were built. Clearly, with the way that they went, loved it all. The kicks to Walter's hand, like there was a point where Ciampa just grabs Walter's hand and is just kicking him, just straight up kicking his hand, like legit,
over and over and over and over.
So good. Then there was a big boot from Walter that right after that kind of stopped Ciampa's momentum. But still, I mean, the damage had been done, and literally, and the commentary did a good job of this. I loved Ciampa. Like the story of the match was the chop, and Ciampa literally had to throw every single thing he had, every ounce of his being at Walter to win this match.
Absolutely. How many times did he bounce off of him?
All right, here we go. Thank you for asking, Tom, because that's a Mamma Mia. The repeating clotheslines, and Tom tasked me with making sure I went back and counted them to see exactly how many. Because I mean, I'm imagining that was a Mamma Mia for you. I mean, it was incredible.
I mean, it was like 2.5 minutes.
It was
of
insane.
Ciampa running like suicide.
Again,
it was crazy.
Again, run the ropes like that, and you won't walk for a week if you've never run the ropes like that. So I did. In total, there's 21. So that's the number. But I want you to think about this. So because he does 9, like he starts doing it, but they weren't like full blown running off the ropes. So he does 9 of those, which means 12 of the high intensity back and forth before he then eventually eats the. Was it a big boot or no? It was a chop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Walter's able to get a desperation chop to end all of that, which was great. 21 times with 12 of them.
21.
12 back. That is
insane. That is conditioning right there.
You know what? And I likened it, and I'll kind of breeze through the rest of this after that. But I likened it to it's his. First of all, it's simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's his big swing. It's his Sheamus, white noise, whatever he calls.
Beats of the bell ring.
The one where he hits him over the. Gets him in the. What do they
Beats
call
of the bell ring.
Yeah, great name. I don't know if I've ever heard it be called that, but I guess that's what it's called. That's what they call it.
On commentary.
Michael Cole probably.
Yeah.
The
vintage Sheamus.
But yeah, just I mean, I love it. It's simple. It's something he could take to the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Let's see. Loved the air raid crash, which was again. It seemed like it took everything that Ciampa had to not only hit that, but then to hit the Angel's Wings, which was awesome. But then and then Ciampa just starts beating the crap out of him, but nothing seemed to ever be enough, and it wasn't. Walter just kept coming back up. He knew he needed that one more chop. There was another time where later in the match, he puts Ciampa's hands into the turnbuckle, and this is his last ditch effort, and he starts just punching it. I think we have a clip of him right after this. Just screaming. This is right after that. He hits but you could tell even there, Ciampa is gassed.
Yeah.
They're both gassed, but Ciampa he's sitting there like, what do I have to do to beat this man? He eventually is able to get the top rope air raid crash.
Mm-hmm.
That was a Mamma Mia, and I thought actually had me as the possible ending. And but it was not enough, where we end up having the bridge spot, which was awesome.
Oh my God!
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. With
so beautiful,
yeah, so good.
Which picture perfect.
What ended up with the Angel's Wings, and then
yep.
we had the but then again, Walter just too big of a man, too large of a presence. He hits the double power bombs. It's a 2 in a row, stiff.
Yeah,
gets the cover. Had me on that too. I thought that was it.
That was it.
But then the Ciampa was able to get out. Walter eventually hits his sleeper toss, which is awesome. And finally hits the one last chop, Tom, that ended up winning in the match.
That's it.
So I had this, like I said, favorite match of the week. Might not be, my ratings are kind of all over the place. I had this between 4.25 and 4.75, my man.
Awesome. So going through this, you named some really good spots, but you missed some really good spots too.
Tell me.
There was a release German suplex.
Oh yeah, into the lariat. Yep.
Yeah.
And then the lariat.
That was a Mamma Mia for me.
I just said it was dope.
And the right before that actually was the fairy tale ending.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
I kept calling it Angel's Wings.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
The fairy tale ending. First he did it. He tried to do it once and it didn't work. And then he went back to it and it was beautiful.
Yeah, he planted him.
It was really beautiful.
Walter ate it.
And Walter got his legs up and everything. Like it worked. It really worked
for a big man.
Yeah. And
Large.
that was all after he was just bouncing off of him. So there's so much more after that. Just Ciampa had just this fire in him. And it was really good to see because it's been a while since we've seen Ciampa like really heated in a feud. And so this was really, it was a refresher for sure for him. And man, they just went. They went. There was a point that it was late in the match and they did a chop off. They were just slapping the crap out of each other fast and hard and just brutal. And it's like, man, this is late in the match for that.
Yeah.
And then there was a fisherman suplex that was nuts and just everything. And like you said, the whole thing from the start to the end was the big chop. Like, you just got to get that big chop. And he gets it. He gets the pin. And it's kind of unfair to the gauntlet match because we were pretty confident going in that Ciampa wasn't going to be going to the UK.
True.
But it's kind of unfair. But I rated this 4.25 X's because this was expert storytelling from two top guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely top to bottom.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. So, it was everything I wanted and more. You know what it is? I don't necessarily need to see that match again.
Right.
I don't like it doesn't take away from it, but
Right.
it wasn't like the Kushida DUNNE where I could use another 10 of those. But anyway, my last note was insanity. So we then had the Bronson Reed talking about his win, but I throw it to you, my friend, for the Triple Threat Tag Team Championship matchup.
So right before that, we did get a package about Frankie Monet.
Oh, yes.
She's
Sorry.
coming.
Yes.
She's coming.
Do you know who that is?
It is the wife of John Morrison.
Yep. Formerly Tara Valkyrie.
Valkyrie. Yeah. And so I kind of enjoyed that package. The dog's adorable.
Gotta love the dog. Yeah.
And I'm here for it. And then my next thought is my body isn't ready for an insane tag team triple threat because we had just gone through the ringer so much with Ciampa and Walter. But man, we got a triple threat match between Grizzled Young Veterans, Zach Gibson and James Drake, Legado del Fantasma, Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza, which Joaquin Wilde's mask looked really cool.
His
almost like a Power Ranger type visor to it.
I like that he continues to like show that side of his lucha background.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, of course, MSK with the ever wonderful and amazing Wes Lee and the chaotic and fun Nash Carter.
Yeah.
Again, Nash Carter just continues to kind of grow his character.
Yeah.
And I think that he's getting better and better and better as we go. Grizzled Young Veterans are just so smooth, clean, in sync, 100%. They clean house.
Yeah.
And everything was just so timed perfectly between the hit on the other side of the ring, and then while he was doing that, James was getting on for I think it was Gibson actually that got down on his hands and knees, and then James Drake comes and hits the corner too. Yep. It was just like so well timed, really beautiful.
They're so in sync, not like
and
the band.
Then, man, Mamma Mia right here, and we have the clip of it. The Raul Mendoza corkscrew with Joaquin Wilde diving.
There it
Here
is.
we go.
Bang.
Ooh, thing of beauty. In sync, 100%, same time. Like, that is just absolutely an amazing tag team move. Yeah. Legado really came. And, wow, they were just really awesome tonight. I thought for a second that we had sold Legado short because none of us guessed that Legado was going to win. It was almost as if we were talking about the match like it was
just
not
MSK
a triple
versus
threat.
Yeah,
because I mean,
they wouldn't.
And of course, we ended up being right that it really ended up being between the two of them in the end,
which I like.
But Legado really got a chance to shine.
Yeah, first takeovers for both those guys. So
Raul Mendoza hit this beautiful lion salt where he bounced off the bottom rope, and that was just really cool. Of course, Wes Lee's incredible. No matter what he does, he just is so impressive. And then we had the tease for the Tope Doomsday device. And Nash Carter almost turned heel for me in stopping that move. Because it's so awesome to see that thing. And
That was Mamma Mia for me.
yeah. Well, later on.
Later
on
on,
the stage,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Then we had that spot in the whatever that DDT thing that Gibson did to Wesley was insane. Put Wesley down, and then they held his hand on the turnbuckle, and kicked it.
Yep.
So hard, and it looked like, I mean,
I loved
obviously
it. I love that so much.
That is something that if this were 100% not staged, his hand would probably been broken.
Because it was between the carabiner and it was behind
it was
the
all
padding.
metal.
Yeah. Yep.
And so Gibson just kicked the crap out of him.
He's so good. Wesley.
And
they're all good.
Yeah, Wesley's amazing. And then Legato made me believe right there that they were going to take it. Then we got the Tope Doomsday off the stage.
Oh.
Which, do we have a clip of the Tope Doomsday off the stage? I think we don't.
No, we don't.
But we do have something from the towards the end of the match where we get the classic MSK push pin, which we'll bring up now. This thing is a thing of beauty.
Yes.
And actually, there was a clip right before this where we had kind of like the two teams facing off because Grizzled Young Veterans.
Yeah, this is
right here. So this is really the story of the match here, where they went after Legato had that near fall. It really turned into this tale of the two teams, bringing it back to the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Classic, and
so smooth.
Then, of course, you get the classic win for MSK. Well, not even classic yet because they're brand new, but it feels classic because they're already a household item. I think.
Well, and honestly, like the thing about MSK is you could that's the one thing you have to see to be hooked.
Yeah.
But then you watch like the assisted SSP, but then you watch everything else they do. I mean, you said it, man. Wesley, and I'll let you finish before I get into some of my thoughts, but Wesley is just so good. So good.
Yeah, he is, and he's special. One day he's gonna have quite the singles career down the road.
Yeah.
So for this match, I really, really, really loved it. This was my favorite match of this night so far.
Oh wow.
Raul Mendoza was the MVP of that match.
Shout out
100%. Raul Mendoza was the MVP of that match.
I like it.
And I had that match at 4.5X's because I love tag team wrestling.
I love the dichotomy of our picks today, Tom.
Ooh.
This is generally how it goes, and I always love it. Dude, first of all, shout out tag team wrestling. So, and then on the next night we didn't had a not gonna say it was 4.5X's the ladies tag match the next night, but also very, very strong.
Yeah. I have plenty of things to say about that too.
Okay. We will get there. We're close to the end here on night one, and we'll shuffle right into night two after we get into our show ratings. But we still have the main event to go after I give my ratings here.
What was your rating for this match?
I had this. The only spot that you didn't cover that I wanted to make sure I got into because you covered basically everything else was the
double cutter.
Oh, great. That I have. It wasn't a Mamma Mia, but Mamma Mia, which the double cutter was awesome. But the and the middle rope MSK to win was awesome. But Mamma Mia for me was they did double coast to coasts. Well, they had I forget who they had in the Tree of Woe, and then MSK did the from each side of the ring.
Yeah,
which was just
they're both so impressive.
So perfect word. I had it a little lower, but I think you'll like where I ended up settling. I had this 3.5 and 4. But based on your love, my friend, I'm going on the high side of that.
All right.
I'm going to go another 4. It's hard to not give all of these matches at least 4X's. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
I understood what you said for the 3.5 for the opener because you wanted more.
Well, the Eliminator.
Oh, sorry, yes. Yeah. You had 4 for DUNNE and KUSHIDA.
I had 4 for DUNNE and KUSHIDA, and I wanted more.
Yes, yeah. So, I mean...
Or 4.25, I think.
Can't ask for any... Honestly, couldn't ask for anything more. And if you're a fan of tag team wrestling, which I am, and clearly Tom is gonna head the parade for tag team wrestling here on NXT and We. I know Brett will join you as well. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better. So everybody got to shine, and we have new champs. So
We do.
very, very well deserved. So after that,
Which we were guaranteed new champs.
That's true, but
yeah,
new champs we possibly
after that
would
we
have
got
had anyway.
to see Stephanie McMahon hanging out with the new signing
Saray.
Saray.
Yeah.
And my one thought on that is I cannot wait for Saray's edgy heel turn that makes her 100 times better than when she starts.
There you go. I'm with you. And again, just improving on the best division in all of wrestling, which is the women's division of NXT.
It really is.
So this is now this is the part of the show where you say, PJ, now it's time for and then I say the next words.
PJ, now it's time for the
main event of the evening. I just added that because we're in the studio. Anyway, we have the Women's Championship, the highly anticipated your girl, Io Shirai, and ours, everybody's, the greatest women's wrestler in the world, versus Raquel Gonzalez, Lady Diesel, Lady Nash, whatever you want to call her. I mean, man, first of all, checking on my... Okay. What I want to say before I get into it, wasn't my highest rated match by any stretch of the imagination. But did I enjoy it for what it for the purpose it served? 100%. This was exactly what it needed to be. Was it a technical masterpiece? No, I already said that. But did both of the two competitors get to really shine and show what their brand of wrestling is? 1,000%. Not even 100%. 1,000%. Again, I love the tail of the tape. I wish I had written down everything that I had in there. Next time I'll make sure to make a note of it. But just I'm here for the love of the tail of the tape. I'm here for like the super special walkout, like the old school with the like pulsing
The one
beats.
detail on the tail of the tape that I cannot let go
Let me hear it.
is that Io Shirai, let's remember, is 2020's overall performer of the year.
Yes.
And that's never gonna change. She always will be the 2020 performer of the year, and that is worldwide, people.
Correct.
Because NXT is the best brand in wrestling, and Io Shirai was the best thing in wrestling in 2020.
And what did you know what before we say
She's perfect.
What is it? The black and gold standard.
The black and gold standard. Absolutely.
There you go.
Actually, the black and gold standard is a little bit under this. I'll go into that a little bit later.
Okay. That's, hey, little tease, as they say in the business.
Yep.
Io and Raquel, man, loved the fire out of the gate. There's really none of these matches for either night or one or two that should have started with a lockup, so I'm glad it didn't. Right off the bat, man, Raquel is just so good. She plays her role perfectly. The Rana off the top was awesome. Raquel catching the corner knees, where Io goes for her like signature, was awesome. Just again, she showed her strength. Io was able to show her speed and her genius as a Sky label. Crossbody through the ropes that Io did. I mean, again, another example of having to throw everything at her, as we see in this clip right here. That you could bring, if you want to bring that back real quick. And this is a little later in the match, but literally Io had to throw everything she could at Raquel, including jumping off of a 20-foot skull, my friend. So, I mean, Mamma Mia. I mean, I think obligatory right there.
Absolutely.
And I'll just do it for one time for Morrow. Mamma Mia!
That sounded more like a
Yeah, I was like Mario,
pizza maker.
No, I was like, I was like Mario, or that was my Mario impression basically. But sorry, shout out Mario, we love you. The Asai moonsault from Io was great. I mean, everything Io did through the air was picture perfect. Let's just get that out of the way. Raquel's flipping from like the gory special type position powerbomb. Oh,
I was just reading my note on that. I was like, I don't even know what to call that, but it was cool.
Gory bomb special, something like that. They didn't even know what to call it.
No, they didn't call it.
The powerbomb fall away into the ropes was great, where she has her up and then she just kind of took a bump, for lack of a better term. The Rana into the it was a clean Io Rana after this kind of a desperation into one of her double stomps was clean. I thought it looked a little honky at first, but the crossface spot, Io gets her down in the crossface. I thought that was done well.
I thought so too.
Let's see, moonsault to the outside, classic Io. That'll never not get a Mamma Mia slap on it, just because it's just a moonsault to the outside. What do you want me to say?
She's perfect. Why not?
Again, we had the dive. Let's see, moon over moon for a near fall, which I didn't know that's what it was called, and I really liked it. And then I actually said, Is that and maybe you would know this more. Is that the first time anybody's kicked out of that?
Mm-hmm.
That was.
Mm-hmm.
Did they say? I couldn't hear them if they said it on commentary.
Well, they said, I don't think anybody's kicked out of Io Shirai's moonsault.
Yeah.
And
I think that's what jogged the question in my head. But I imagine there's no way anybody has.
I don't think she hit it in the matches she lost before her heel turn.
Anytime she's hit it and gotten a pin, nobody's ever kicked out. So
because she was doing a lot of tag team wrestling at first.
So she didn't have to hit it anyway.
The Flying Pirates.
Oh yeah, Kairi Sane. I forgot about that. Shout out Kairi Sane. But then, I mean, that was her last ditch effort, including the dive off of the skull that we saw. And first of all, jackknife on the outside. I just call it the jackknife because she's Lady Diesel, and it is actually with it being one arm, it is more of a jackknife than even Diesel did, or Nash, or whatever you want to call it.
And they call it just a one-arm power bomb.
No, I would just call it jackknife.
It could be better.
I'd call it a jackknife.
One-arm jackknife, hey.
One arm. There you go. Hey, we're workshopping here on the NXT We podcast. PJ Brett here with Takeover. No Brett with Takeover Tom though. So we did a little switcheroo there, even though Tom would have been here regardless. But yeah, that was mean. And then we get back in the inside after that. Mamma Mia for me was the lariat on the full flip from Raquel to Io. Just ate it. She full sent it. And then we had one more jackknife for the win, which I appreciated. And new champ, man. The era of Raquel Gonzalez begins. We'll see where Io goes from here. I don't want to speculate. I think we'll cross that bridge when we get there with Io. Mm-hmm. Let's just say, great champion. She's still the greatest women's wrestler in the world to me. I had this, my friend, between 3.25 and 3.75. I went on the little lower side. Still a great match. And it was more of a passing the torch than anything.
It really was. And this is another one. I mean, this is where I put my 5 points into Raquel. You know, the writing was all over the wall. It's WrestleMania week. You're building up a new star in Raquel Gonzalez. She's had this build. She pinned Io Shirai in War Games. The build was there. And again, this is something where we kind of knew going in like what was going to happen, but they just executed it perfectly.
Yeah.
And Io Shirai did my favorite move in the world, the sunset flip powerbomb. And she just she made it look so good because she got that stiff shot to the midsection, and then she hopped up on her back, hooked the legs around her arms, and then she did that thing where her arms are up and she throws herself, and so it gives the look of leverage and momentum for the power bomb,
especially with the much smaller Io and the much larger Raquel.
So, like, one thing about that makes me think, like, when you're doing film production, if you have like lighting on somebody's face, you want to motivate the lighting. So if you see like a flickering light, you're gonna want to have like a candle in the shot later on to show that's where that light's coming from. It's called motivating the lighting.
Hey,
in a way, the arm swing is motivating the move in a way where you're giving it, like, this is a sport, and she is doing things to improve her leverage and power behind the move.
And that's definitely a conscious theatrical thing as well.
And that's why Io Shirai is one of the best wrestlers in the world, because everything she does looks legit, 100% top to bottom. So yeah, I mean, the head scissors into the double stomp, amazing. Of course, we had whenever you're looking into an EO match on TakeOver, start looking at the set. Figure, well, what's she going to climb
What's
tonight?
she going to jump off of,
And that's just one thing that gives her just an edge. You know, that's not something that happens all the time in women's wrestling. And so Io Shirai is special. And no matter where she goes from here, she could stick around in NXT for a while and be like the mentor to incoming stars, because we are in kind of a transition period right here in the women's division. Some of the more established stars are forming the tag team division,
and we're getting 2 new singles.
And we're getting new singles competitors. Like, we got a lot of new talent coming in and a lot of young talent. And so I think Io can stick around, but I think she can also see a lot of good use on Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah.
So I had this match at 4.75.
Wow.
X's,
see that,
because
I love
it was my most exciting Io match in a long time.
Yeah.
And Io Shirai just looked like she was having a blast the entire time. Like, you just when you have somebody, you could tell they're enjoying what they're doing in the ring. It just makes it that much easier for us to enjoy it at home.
Well, I appreciate that we're a full X plus difference here. Not again, it served its purpose. It wasn't necessarily my cup of tea match wise. There were some good moments, and I 3.5 for a takeover, which is what I'm going to settle on, is a very good match.
Absolutely.
Let's just say it doesn't need to be said, but I'm going to say it here. Both nights were every match from both nights is a must watch for me.
Absolutely.
If you're going to watch one, you have to watch them all. So
WrestleMania week is something where they're
watch.
always trying to build it up to be the most exciting thing of the year.
Yeah.
And NXT is a lot better at capitalizing on that and making sure it actually happens.
Getting the most,
Yeah.
100%. And we talked about it on the write-up here that, like, it's a little harder for the main roster to do that. But at the same time, I mean, you have arguably the best roster of wrestlers in the world. Do you think they would figure it out and do something similar to what NXT does all the time? But
yeah, well, Vince likes what Vince likes, and Vince does. People have been saying for years Vince is out of touch. It's not that Vince is out of touch; he just says he doesn't care what other people want.
He just does what he wants.
This is his show,
It's his show.
And
Hey,
while he's
shout out
here,
Vince.
it's his show.
Shout out Vince.
So all around, night one was
what a
just
night.
a fantastic night. After that. Especially after the Io and Raquel match, I was on such a high
For a night, yeah.
and I questioned, like, did they jump the shark? Because I think, like, how do you beat that bar they set? And I said the bar is set high for the rest of Mania week. It's going to be hard for any match to beat what happened on Wednesday night. And I was worried that we weren't going to get a night two that continued the escalation. I was wrong.
But yes, as you said, that was night one.
Yep. Do you want to do night one show ratings?
Yeah. Let's hop right into that. How about I'll give my show rating first, and you can give your Mamma Mia first. How does that sound?
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
So, yeah, I mean, you said it. It's getting harder and harder to, like, group these takeovers and, like, put them against each other because, first of all, they're all so different. But what remains the same, and I know this is like, I mean, it's so easy to say, but it needs to be said. I mean, they're all so great. There's I legitimately don't think I've ever seen a bad takeover.
And gold standard.
The black, you rascal. I had this show, my friend, at it. It's tough, and I wanted to do a scale, but I ended up just settling on, as we talked. I settled on what it felt right when I wrote it down. 4.25 X's for this show.
Nice.
It's right up there. Like, you know how they do the tier things, like tier S, A, all that, like tier rankings?
Yep.
I mean, this is S. This is S or A at the very least. And I think there is no takeover that gets into the C range, if you ask me. But so still pretty high praise. And, I mean, I'm here for it twice on Tuesdays or Wednesdays and every other day besides that. So.
So my Mamma Mia moment of night one.
What was your show rating?
You told me to go with the Mamma Mia.
No. Well, you give your show rating, and then you give your Mamma Mia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. And then I sent it back to you. Okay,
Yeah.
Understood. So my show rating for night one was 4.5 X's.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
what?
Super, super, super solid. And I have it on my notes already.
Okay.
You can look them over.
No. I just
But yeah, I mean, 4.5 was just like, man, that was such a good night.
That's awesome.
4.5 is just like what I feel like is just like awesome.
I love how you
Straight up,
consume NXT.
when you're just feeling like that was just awesome, where you're just excited at the end of the night, you can't sleep. That's the way NXT goes.
See, the thing
that's
is
why it's better for the takeovers to be on Saturdays.
True. Very true.
Because they keep you up. So then we move on to our Mamma Mia moments.
Yes, sir.
And my Mamma Mia moment isn't so much on impact like it normally would be, or like a crazy stunt like it normally would be.
I think we have the same one.
My Mamma Mia moment of the evening was Raul Mendoza's corkscrew plancha with Joaquin Wilde's
stereo.
Like, it was the tope off the stage.
Yeah.
So it incorporated the individual environment, and oh my God, Raul Mendoza just got to shine, and that's something that felt really, really good for me.
Wait, can you say his name one more time?
Raul Mendoza.
Thank you.
I have Hispanic heritage in my family. I am a Puerto Rican, So I have the quarter of my family is the Lopez's,
Oh.
and so it's very important to me to see the luchas and the Hispanic stars really shine
Represented,
here.
yeah.
So, it's just really, really like the way they showed them off was in a way that just really had that traditional pride in lucha wrestling, and so it's just special to me.
I'm with it, man. I mean, that's definitely top 3 of the night for me, I would say, just with how stereo it was. Like, it doesn't happen as often. My Mamma Mia, though, and I will say it has something to do with the fact that I went back and watched it twice. Ciampa's clotheslines, man. I mean, it's the same with like the big swing. You see, it's like same. Obligatory for me is a superplex, as I said. It will always be a Mamma Mia. Going forward, I mean, obligatory for me is a long, big swing. This is the longest we've seen him do it. It was one of the most impressive athletic things I've seen on any wrestling show in a long time. He's done it similarly, but not 22 times. So, or 21 or whatever it ended up being.
I mean, usually he would knock the guy down.
Exactly, before that, yeah.
Yeah.
But this was Walter. So.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, just a tremendous night of wrestling. I could not have asked for anything more out of night 1. And as we saw, it reflected in the ratings, which I was very happy with. And, I mean, I guess there's not much else to do but head right into night 2, my friend. How about we just, I mean, they didn't, right? They didn't wait.
They didn't.
We won't either.
So one thing leading into night 2, we got that beginning show with Poppy, and my roommate said it too. It's like, man, this really set the stage. Like, this is the style that we should be getting of the music. It is exactly what we should be seeing, and it was super entertaining. And that's something that they don't always get right, is the musical performances. But this really started the show off really well. And then we head right into Santos Escobar versus Jordan Devlin for the undisputed Cruiserweight Championship. And I gotta say, the build-up to this match was really, really cool, because they really told a story of competition, of just legit wrestling, and they didn't make anybody look foolish. They all look strong, and man, what a match. We start off, and again, I like that lucha. Santos Escobar, his entrance, he comes in with this purple mask and attire, and they have this perfect shot where like he's looking through the ladder, and the mask itself is just awesome looking. And
so cool.
Yeah. And so then he takes the mask off at the end of the entrance, and it's like, man, how can you take off a mask that's that badass and look even more badass when it's off? Like, Santos Escobar is the real deal. And of course, Jordan Devlin is
Irish ace.
He's the ace. And so these two guys are really the top of their game, and Jordan Devlin showed no sign of ring rust. They started off with some beautiful chain wrestling, so smooth as they were exchanging these, over-unders and all that. And then it was kind of like a lion salt, but it was to the outside from Jordan. And oh my God, it's just, his acrobatics are a thing of beauty.
He flies very gracefully.
He really does. And then Devlin was the first one to start climbing, and Santos just bashed him into the ladder. It was brutal looking. And everything from here on was straight up brutal. It was a Mamma Mia fest. It absolutely was. Started off the brutal double tap on Devlin with the ladder, where he hits him up and lands on top of him. Just gnarly. And then Santos just rammed him into the corner with the ladder, and then he hit that basement drop kick on the ladder into Devlin when he was seated in the corner. That looked brutal. And then, of course, we got another ladder enters the mix, and it just starts really getting into one of those, it starts feeling like that classic ladder match feel. And then as Escobar was trying to climb, he was just stomping the absolute hell out of Devlin. He got some really strong shots in there. And then we saw what looked like the most dangerous ladder setup I've ever seen, where he rested it on the top turnbuckle with the feet sticking out. And of course, Santos is the one who ate it because you set it up, you take it. That's the rule.
Generally speaking, yes.
And so that just looked really gnarly.
Oh, there it is, yeah.
Yeah. And
oh, no, this is... Oh, that's about me for me.
That's a little bit later on in the meeting.
For me. Amazing.
So after he ran into the ladder that was stacked on top of the turnbuckle, there was this really perfect execution there where the ladder transitioned into the classic corner lean.
Mm-hmm.
So they had already set up a future spot without doing any extra setup.
Because it just
fell right into place.
Yep.
So what an efficient use of the ladder setup. And then, this just devolved. It was a freaking fist fight, and it was everything they were doing was brutal. And then we got that moonsault off the ladder, which if we can go right back to that, this is just...
Oh, from the top. He went to the very, very top.
The very, very, very top of the ladder. We've only seen people jump off the very, very top of the ladder a few times, and usually it's Jeff Hardy.
How can you not just fall in love with wrestling when you watch something like that?
Absolutely.
I just don't.
And usually when we see somebody go to the very, very top of a ladder and then go down... Like we were seeing Jeff Hardy do like swantons from up there, maybe some elbow drops. That is a picture perfect. Like he floats in midair.
It's like, it reminds me of like Kurt Angle or back in the day, like Christopher Daniels.
And Santos was so close to the bottom of the ladder.
I was a little nervous.
So it was. I was like, why isn't he a little farther out? And then it was perfect. And that was a real Mamma Mia right there.
Mamma Mia.
The insane balance that you need in order to stand on a ladder, let alone do a freaking backflip off of it, And then, of course, Legado del Fantasma paid some dividends.
Because he goes up right after that.
Yeah. And that's why I put my points into Escobar, man. I had put 3 points into Escobar because Legado is the difference maker. But man, when he was climbing and Devlin just chucked a ladder at him.
I loved it.
That was a Mamma Mia right there.
I laughed at it. I thought it was awesome too.
It looked so good.
So funny.
And then
who throws a ladder?
Then they were both on ladders on the same side.
Mm-hmm. The Spanish fly.
2 different ladders, and then the Spanish fly. Sorry. That is another Mamma Mia right there. Like I said, this gets into a Mamma Mia fest, and we're right in the heart of it right now. And then we get to that moment where they're both on top of the ladder. Before the match started, I was like, I wonder if they're each going to come down with a title and make this thing last a little bit longer. And that's when I started thinking, this is going to happen. It's going to happen. But then Santos knocks Devlin off the ladder, and that ladder bump in the corner was one of the most gnarly things I've ever seen. Huh?
I think it was a table, right?
No, it was a ladder. It was the ladder that fell.
The headbutt? Oh, that was yeah. Sorry, I don't know why I had table here, but it was. You're right. He goes through the table in the corner, off the headbutt
into a ladder. On the corner.
Yeah.
Not a table.
No, I know. I don't know why I wrote down table.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I know.
That was because I've said
the one
before.
That you said
it sets
before,
up the corner ladder. Yeah. So he goes through the ladder, and it's one of those landings.
Table. That's probably what I meant to say.
It's one of those landings where he folds in on himself, and it's like, wow, that was an insane bump.
That's actually what I wrote down. Insane.
It really didn't take long for me to be like, okay, they didn't jump the shark last night. This is equally as good or better. And Santos Escobar takes the title, reigns supreme, and I give that 4.5 X's, man. It was a thing of beauty.
All right. You did a great job and you said that you had that play-by-play, which
basically a play-by-play. Yeah.
Because I had the same 4 Mamma Mias in a row that I don't know if you necessarily said Mamma Mia. You said at least for 3 of them, so I'll say that you had it for 4. But those 4, the moonsault, I had it for Legado shoving him off, Devlin off the ladder, because just the way he fell was just cool. Like the way
everything they were doing looked so crazy that
crap canned himself. Yeah, no, I
all blurred together,
and it was so quick. Those 4.
Yeah,
and then I had the Spanish fly, and then the Devlin through the ladder table.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. But yeah, just insane. Great way to again another same thing I felt like with even though this was more of a finale, had a final finale type feel to it, whereas Dunne and Kushida we could see going further.
Mm-hmm.
Although I wouldn't mind another Devlin Santos match. Let me just say that. But it did seem finale. I think the right guy won, to be honest.
Yeah. And later on, Santos put Devlin over in his promo.
Yeah, said he
so
is. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I had this 3.75 to 4.25. And Tom, I'll just give you the credit. Your analysis swayed me to go on the higher side. I'm going to settle on the 4.25. I'm a sucker for a ladder match too. So
Excellent, man.
there we go.
Yeah,
all
I
right.
feel like the ladder match itself gives it like a 3.5.
Yeah,
almost.
exactly. Yeah,
like
yeah. You can.
They can do anything with those.
Yeah. And sometimes they don't utilize the ladders as much, but they did here.
They really did.
So next, we see.
And the aerials.
And then the clip that we saw.
So many of the ladder matches we get are for like heavyweight titles and intercontinental titles. So we don't always get really strong aerials in a ladder match, and we got really strong aerials in this ladder match.
Stuff that you see, and I can't understand why you don't just fall in love with wrestling. So like I said, I had this at 4.25. Next, we see MSK just kind of running down and predicting the card, and in classic, fun fashion. They didn't agree on anything. And,
yeah, they're the Hardy Boys in the ring, and they're New Day on the mic.
Yeah, there you go. Good way to put it. Especially Nash Carter. He's really coming around on me. I mean, Wesley is just great.
So much fun.
Yeah, he is. They're both
and
together.
Wes has such a natural charisma.
The swag, yeah.
He's got swag.
Yeah.
Boom.
Swag. All over the place. Speaking of, I guess I tried, but there is the swag is not very strong with necessarily. It's more just chaos for Ember and Shotzi, and more just a preppy type of way that they go about them does the way, as we have the ladies tag team championship match here between the champs Ember and Shotzi defending against The Way, one of your favorites, Candice LeRae, and Indy Indy Hartwell. I don't know why I don't see it. I wanted to say Blackheart.
Shotzi Blackheart.
I know. It just sounded like Indy Blackheart for a second. Made sense. But Indy Hartwell, Candice LeRae, Ember, and Shotzi. I mean, so I mentioned it in the night one. Look, this was not a barn burner by any stretch of the imagination. There was no, and I will reiterate, and it's not just because this is an NXT show, because if you listen, which you should, which we're about to be dropping them most Wednesdays, I believe, but we'll get that all figured out as NXT moves to Tuesdays. If you listen to us, we do knock matches. We're not just praising everything like it's the best thing that we've ever seen, and I know you know this. But this was a must-watch match. It's the first ever tag team championship match on a takeover for the women. It's a historical match in that sense, and we did get some good action. So not to really sell them short or anything. Again, I love the fire, and actually, you mentioned it. Just to quickly backtrack for one quick second, the only match between the two nights that I thought could use some lockups and like chain wrestling was Santos and Devlin, because it's like the first time they've ever really touched. They didn't really have like the whole. I mean, their whole thing was just the Intercontinental. They didn't really, as shown by Santos being respectful later on, they didn't really have any bad necessarily blood between the two of them.
They had chain wrestling in the beginning.
That's what I'm saying. Like it was the only match that like I thought kind of.
Oh, it needed it and it got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Like where it made sense too.
Yeah.
Whereas here, this has been kind of building. I mean, in Ember Shotzi just come out like a ball of fire in the fire pit, as they do. And again, I really liked what I saw about Indy from Indy in this match. I think she's been improving. And I mean, when you're working with Johnny Gargano, Johnny Wrestling, and Candice Wrestling,
this was her biggest opportunity so far. I actually put during their entrances. This is Indy's time to shine.
Yeah, and she did.
Because she has the biggest opportunity here out of anybody.
She looked good with her offense. I mean, she hits a nice sidewalk slam, which I mean, if you hit it nice, it's a very fun move and can be effective. I thought, she was just looking good. All of her offense, which sometimes looks a little, not as
green.
Smooth. Yeah, I guess that's the better way to put it. As
that's why she's
what
with
it would be.
Yeah.
And whereas my boy Theory is not green, so don't ever think about saying that about Austin Theory.
He was green in a character sense, and now he is amazing.
Okay, I'll take that. Okay, I'll take that.
He was a young Randy Orton before.
Shout out Austin Theory.
He was a prodigy before.
Yeah, shout out. 22. He was only 22 when he was on WrestleMania. People should never forget that. but we had Indy looking good with her offense. But then we get a hot tag, which these two do really well from Ember.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Shout out to Road Dogg right there.
Hell yeah.
And then I loved the fact that she also did the spinning forearm instead. So
Mm-hmm.
the nice little groove, little suck it for shout out
love
Road Dogg.
Candace's cell where she slowly topples over.
That's one of my favorite cells in wrestling,
Yeah.
if one done right. And then she
Boom.
clocked her.
She nailed
One
it.
more time, suck it. And she did scream it, so I appreciated
Bam.
that.
Yes.
You know, if
I
you
love
grew up-
the little spin move dance that she did leading up into it too.
Just she put some stank on it,
Yeah.
as the kids say.
Ember's having so much fun with what she's doing, man.
Oh yeah,
It's-
you could tell.
oh.
It's so nice, and I mean we talked about it. It's just nice to have Ember back in NXT. So it really is, because I thought her run in the beginning was a little not underwhelming, but it was left
Ended too soon.
to be desired. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. So like I said, the Tower Doom. I thought the Tower Dooms. After that, we get
Mamma
the power bomb or Tower Doom power bomb spot right here.
Bam.
Bang, just perfect.
Indy's
some of
the perfect base for that too.
Yeah. Well, yes, number one. Two, some of these, and I think maybe you'd agree with this, sometimes they don't, a lot of the times they're tried and true.
Mm-hmm.
They're tried and true, but sometimes they're too tried, if you know what I mean. Like they're overdone a lot on the main roster. But this one was it wasn't normal.
Yeah.
It wasn't your normal Tower of
It was
Doom.
all sandwich. Like she literally just powerbombed Candace.
It was a Rube Goldberg machine of a move type deal.
And Candace was like suplexing Ember, where it was all different things going on throughout the stack.
They were able to throw a little spin on a move that is done a lot, which I appreciated. Again, Shotzi hot tag was really good. That led to the Tiger suplex, and then we had Shotzi diving, which was nuts.
Oh my God!
She goes to the rest. Oh, here we have it.
This is.
Oh,
she almost died right there, man. That is so.
So you could say that she overshot it, which I think she would tell you that. But I love how they saved it. They saved it. Both Candace and they not only saved her, but saved the move and made it look impactful. Which I mean, if you want to say call a spade, she full sent that thing.
And yeah, I mean, it looks like they got taken out by the legs.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Just her whole body just being thrown. And I'll always appreciate how they do it between
Ember being up.
Yeah,
oh my God, that's a point that I'm going to make towards the end.
Yeah, and it's just a small thing, but I appreciate it. Let's see. Later on in the match, we ended up seeing a great senton from Ember. As you said, just the motivated Ember is just nice to see.
Yeah.
I love the running slam bulldog thing that they do, where that's like the kind of a cutter, like she runs under and does the cutter while that's fun.
Tag team.
Yeah, just you love tag team wrestling.
Tag team wrestling.
This was a tag team wrestling match
in the best women's division in the world.
There you go.
Doing
TakeOver Tom.
Amazing takeover tag team wrestling.
Things. So I thought it writing wasn't necessarily on the wall as much as some other matches, but I didn't see Ember.
I was
Shotzi
shaking my
losing.
boots for Ember and Shotzi, dude.
Really?
Yeah, you made a great point in the Pick'em episode where it's time for Candace to have a belt. Like
it still
when
is.
When I called for a mid-card women's title, and
she
NXT,
would be the face of it.
Like I was calling for Candace to pull it because there's way too much crowding going on in the women's title picture, and Candace just was never at a point where she felt more legitimate than the other women on the roster.
Yeah.
And so she really deserves something, especially now that she is really acting as a mentor to the young talent. She did really deserve something. And I just think that I called Shotzi and Ember mainly out of heart, and also that I feel like they need the reign to go on a little bit longer.
No, I didn't want to see a shotgun change like they kind of did. Well, clearly they had a reason for shotgunning
right
it off
away,
of. Yeah. But anyway, we then saw the double eclipse. Perfect. Perfect. And we have the retaining winners of Ember and Shotzi, which I was happy with. So, I mean, I kind of said it. By no stretch does this match blow me away, but it was good enough and important enough. Must watch. Just watch it all. If you're gonna watch these, just watch them all. That's what I mean. For the NXT on USA regular shows, we'll tell you if it's skippable, quote unquote. Although shout out NXT, nothing's skippable because it's NXT.
Exactly, it's the black and gold standard.
Black and gold standard, but this was similar to that. The greatest wrestling division in all of wrestling. They did it again here. I had this between 3.25 and 3.75.
Cool. So I echo a lot of what you're saying about how especially the Indy Hartwell stuff, man. Like
Yeah.
that spine buster.
Oh yeah, I didn't
Ooh,
even.
she got up high.
She
That was
does
really,
a lot
really
of
good.
simple things.
Yeah, and she makes them look really good, and her height just lends to a lot of it too. So of course, like we had some great crashes from Shotzi because she's always just high impact and always throwing herself around. I love Shotzi so much. I love Ember so much. I love Candice, and Indy Hartwell is. I'm gonna be saying I love Indy Hartwell one day. It's
By all means.
the best women's division in the world, and I didn't realize how much I needed this because I love tag team wrestling, as I said before. And I realized, wow, with the women's tag team titles, we're getting something we never had before, and that's developed women's tag teams with tag team maneuvers. Like you were talking about before with the cutter tag team move and Ember going up and Shotzi going through her legs. These are all signatures that they're developing because they have time to work together. And now they actually had time to work on a takeover level tag team match.
Yeah.
And that's something that we were missing for so long. Ember and Shotzi are the perfect gelling unit for this emergence of tag team wrestling in the women's division.
Perfect people to work off of.
Absolutely. Their gimmicks work together. Like when they came out, it's like, man, they look like they're ready for a horror movie.
War, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like
and I mean, Shotzi has experience in horror movies, so she's just a perfect fit for that.
There you go.
And man, I just love this. I did go 3.75X's because it was just great.
I'm gonna settle right in the middle, right there at 3.5. I think it's a worthy score. I think both worthy scores. Again, check it out, especially if you love tag team wrestling. It's a tag team wrestling clinic.
Mm-hmm.
What I will say. So after that, Tom, we see the debut of one Gable Stevenson in the crowd.
Yeah, pretty big dude.
I think of a collegiate wrestler, I believe, is what they
Yeah.
were saying. And yeah, I mean, I wrote down he's got all the intangibles. He's got a look. He's clearly big. He's athletic. So, I mean, hey,
We'll see.
Just adding to the embarrassment of riches that NXT has.
Yeah, usually when they show off somebody in the crowd leading up in TakeOver, it's leading up to something really cool. And usually those people end up on a pretty fast push, too.
Yeah. Most of the time, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we were dealing with, like, Bobby Roode, Drew McIntyre, all those guys had those moments.
But now on to the North American title match that you, my friend, will bring us through.
And, of course, I had Dexter Loomis for 4.
I know. So, we just canceled it out since none of me and Brett didn't count
we all said Loomis for 4 in the first match, too. So
yeah,
all just cancels out. So now we had Bronson Reed versus Johnny Gargano. I loved Johnny's attire. I believe we actually do have the video of Johnny's entrance.
Iron Man
comes
gear?
in. It's a war machine for
sure.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
There you go. I was wondering.
So, I mean, it looks kind of like hockey pads. Like I was at first thinking Taskmaster, but like that, the circle glowing in the middle, just it's war machine.
So cool.
And one thing I absolutely love about what's going on right now is that the way is so goofy. Johnny was dancing like an absolute buffoon, and it was like with Austin, and oh my God, it's just so entertaining. I love to see Johnny Gargano having fun, and I love how dynamic this heel character is because he's floating through so many different like aspects of a heel character, and he's nailing all of them. And then of course another bad news Barrett moment. Did you see that no look high five from Gargano and Theory? They're just so impressive. Just love how Barrett plays into the way, and just that it makes it all fun. So we had some big guy versus little guy match going on. And then, of course, Bronson Reed is not your stereotypical big guy. He's pulling things like cartwheels and stuff like that. And he is very fun to watch. He's more agile than the normal big dude his size. And that's one thing that, like, we're getting out of, like, when we get big guys now, they usually are capable of throwing their bodies around. We got Viking Raiders. We got Killian Dane, like the big guys they're choosing in NXT are very entertaining. And here you go, Bronson Reed just tossing Johnny Gargano right over the top rope.
This is what the big men we're used to seeing them do, but he throws in a bunch of things. That was actually a Mamma Mia for me, was the Razor's Edge there.
Yeah, and he had
that they called it too.
He swatted Johnny right out of the air, grabbed him in a gorilla press, hit him with a fall away slam. Johnny was getting ragdolled.
That was really good, yeah.
And then Johnny had a moment where he was coming back. He was going for that middle rope spear, and it looked like a thing of beauty, man. Like he shot in between those ropes, and then he just bounced right off.
That was really good.
So it was, like I said, really good big guy versus little guy dynamics. The chops were looking brutal. Johnny had a moment where it was kind of similar, where he bounced off of Bronson a couple times, but then he put him down. So he didn't have to bounce off of him 24 times. So that kind of just made this kind of feel almost like a little bit of a downgrade from that match, honestly. Just because, I don't know, it didn't feel as much as David and Goliath as Ciampa and Walter did.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
It didn't outshine the other match that did the same elements. But we had really, really cool things. The Bronson selling his ribs all night was great storytelling. There was even a moment where the ref was checking on Johnny and he pushed on Bronson. Yeah. And it's like, what are you doing touching his midsection for? And then Bronson kind of sold it.
Yeah. I did.
So I thought that was really funny. But then, we had the corner backstabber from Gargano, cool suplex, and then
from the slice, he countered the sliced bread, and then
and then the reverse Frankensteiner.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Oh, and the cool suplex. Bronson Reed got air. Like he was flipping Johnny over, and he jumped up and crashed down with him.
Yep.
I thought that was really, really cool because regular suplexes are one of the most basic things in wrestling, but he made it look
just
a little extra. Yeah.
Thick boy.
Threw a little, thick boys rule. And then of course the crucifix throw is what we watched before. That was my first huge Mamma Mia. Yeah, Razor's Edge. But I mean, he just tossed him.
Yeah.
Just literally tossed him. And just Mamma Mia's going on. And so after that Razor's Edge over the top rope, he went for a tsunami. And so when I was writing the note about the Razor's Edge, by the time I was done typing it, Johnny already hit the super kick on him after he missed the tsunami. So I thought that was a little a lack of selling on Johnny's part. I wish that was a little bit better. Of course, Austin Theory gets involved. So that was, of course, going to happen. We knew that from the start. And then more head scissors make Johnny just look really good. They exchanged super kicks.
Yeah.
Bronson gave one right back. And then Bronson went up for a moonsault. And of course, Johnny's not taking that. So he crashed hard, and then Johnny went for one final beat, and then he went to the other side of the ring, and it was two final beats. And we can get that video up. We got the final two, the final beat.
Bang!
Bam.
That was a good one, too.
And Johnny Gargano retains. And that's something actually Brett should probably get the 4 points because he did call Johnny on that one.
Nope. We already canceled.
Fair enough, but
his idea too.
Johnny walked away with gold, and I think that's something that he needed. But it's unfortunate for Bronson because he's somebody that has almost felt like he's been having trouble shining because he can't get momentum because he's on every 4 shows.
Yeah.
It's true. But this is the match that I coined the black and gold standard. Because there's the black and gold standard is the bar. No NXT TakeOver matches go below that bar. So this is a measuring stick match. Most of the NXT TakeOver matches we see are better than this one. But this is the base level. This is a great match, fun to watch. It
I like that.
Has some Mamma Mia's to it. But it is the low end of a takeover match. But
Okay.
the low end is great. So
What is your low end rating?
3.5.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen a takeover match go under 3.5.
That's actually exactly right. I had 3.25 to 3.75. I fall right in the 3.5 middle.
Excellent.
The only two things that I wanted to add on top of everything you said was I love a good thick boy dive. That's always fun.
Mhm.
Or three things. Still no idea what because he hit it again before he tried the first tsunami.
Mhm.
Love the rib work, by the way. It was perfect, and you summed it up. You summed it up well. I have no idea what he calls that Alabama Slam type thing, driver thing. And because he hit it again, and they didn't say anything again. I mentioned it in night one. Love it, and I hope he continues to do it. But it seems like they want to it almost seems like they don't want him to do it.
He needs to
almost
just name it himself then.
I mean, that'll be another episode. But yeah, I mean that thing is awesome. And I had a mom. Shout out Wade Barrett. We're giving him a lot of shine here. He called Bronson Bam Bam Bigelow. Or actually, might have been Beth who said that
it was the
on
cartwheel.
the cartwheel. Yeah,
Yep.
that I think Beth actually was the one who said an inspiration for him was Bam Bam Bigelow. Then he tries the moonsault. Bam Bam Bigelow. Mamma Mia for me, but even in a miss, Mamma Mia was the attempt at the thick boy moonsault. So shout out Bronson Reed. But yeah,
Thick boys rule.
got slow at times, but I thought it was a great title defense. And like you said, black and gold standard, 3.5. I love it.
Nothing gets worse than that.
Nothing
gets worse than that on TakeOver. It's a black and gold standard. That is the standard. We don't cross under that.
All right, so we're heading into the last two, my friend. Two, if you ask me, bangers of matches, and I mean the main event is a whole other story, which we'll have to condense. But this is the NXT title match, my friend. Karrion Kross, Finn Balor, TikTok, Prince. It's weird that I'm not saying main event for this because usually this would be the main event. I love the super special vibrating type music for the walk downs that they did. I think it adds just makes it feel more special. I mean, just let's go. I still love Cross's entrance, and I loved the gear that he ended up.
Did
going
you get
with.
chills going in? I got chills going in. Yeah,
I just especially his entrance will
especially
never not be cool.
Finn's.
Oh, jeez. I mean, and because they added the special,
pictures?
Yeah, and
then the dead center was the demon.
At the end, yeah.
I thought that.
I thought there was a chance that he might, yeah. But we've talked about it on the show. Prince, I don't even need the demon right now, or for the foreseeable future. Prince is all I need. And as you said, they extended his theme, which I really liked. Maybe I could find that. Hopefully, I mean, I said it twice. Let's go, and then I said let us go. So I just wrote it out. The theme was cardio versus strength, and this was apparent throughout the whole match. I loved the early toying from Balor, just smiling at him in the beginning for everything Cross was doing. And again, Wade Barrett. If it wasn't Wade, it would be Nigel. So it's one of the two. No one has ever laughed in Cross's face, and I thought that was a nice call. And it's probably true.
Probably.
Finn slaps the crap out of him, and then Cross is just I've had enough of this. Just tosses him. This and nasty slaps. I mean, what did you expect? Finn goes to the shoulder, which I appreciated the callback there.
Yep. Especially because they both had the separated shoulders, so it's I know this is gonna hurt you.
Yep, it was exactly. I mean, that's Prince. He's the calculated champion that he has been. I mean, I have so much, man. But let's see, buckle to buckle before the Finn final cut was good.
Mm-hmm.
The Northern Lights roll through lariat and then powerbomb from Cross was just an awesome sequence. The Northern Lights was perfect, and then Finn just got mean. There's a lot of meanness in all these matches, but Finn just started kneeing the crap out of Cross at one point. I thought that was really mean. And so you had kind of said it with Gargano, kind of after the Razor's Edge, kind of popping up a little quick-ish and then hitting offense. I actually like that about this match. The story kind of
I agree.
lended itself to it.
This match needed it.
Yeah. Because the back and forth I just loved. I loved that it was tit for tat. It was I'm gonna hit a move, you're gonna hit a move, and sometimes that isn't always as fun, but they really worked it here. And then it honestly came down to, I mean, there was a couple sick things. The Doomsday Saito, the first one was Mamma Mia for me. He had a couple of them that just killed Finn. Finn, I don't understand how he didn't dislocate his shoulder again. The coup de grace.
It doesn't look safe when they're doing that.
No.
It doesn't.
But clearly,
it happens.
Yeah. The coup de grace, I think you're not alone in saying that too. The coup de grace that Finn hit stiff, but then I loved Cross just popping up right into the straitjacket, just like it was just.
Oh man, kicking out into a submission move is
Always
always
fun.
good.
Yeah.
And when you get it from somebody who's 6'4" and 265 pounds, like carrying
It's
Cross,
a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
So I said it. Finn was getting mean. He had a couple more double stomps that were just very, very mean. So Finn then. Oh wait, what do we have here? Oh, we just have Finn being mean. That was just Finn being mean.
Finn being
as I
mean.
was saying,
Finn being Finn.
Finn just got mean, and actually I had it here too.
And he's stomping right on the shoulder.
Yeah. Yep.
It's the precision of Finn Balor.
And that's his thing too. And I love his stomps that he does. And then he'll like get on the bottom rope and get some air.
Yep.
Simple like Ciampa. Ciampa does the clotheslines. Finn just stomps a mud hole into you. Shout out Stone Cold. We get towards the end of the match. I forget what kind of submission Finn had, but he had some. I think it was just I forget.
It was a abdominal stretch
type, but it was like his one on the ground type deal.
Yeah, it was kind of
like
almost like a Rings of Saturn.
Yeah,
type move.
Yes, that's. I think they even said that on commentary too. I think they said that on commentary. I'm pretty sure too. And so I didn't really understand how. I guess he just powered out of it, I guess is the way that you would say Cross got out of it, right? He just kind of muscled his way out of it. But then he gets these forearms, man, on the back of Finn's head.
Those look so brutal.
I thought they were going to I would have loved that ending.
Yeah.
I thought they could have stopped it right there.
They could have.
But I guess an ode to a prince, he kind of ends up going overkill, which he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
Kills him with the suplexes, hits 2 of the forearms to the back of the head.
Mm-hmm.
And the Prince's reign is over.
It's over.
Cross still undefeated. Gets the title back that he never officially lost.
Yeah.
And I'm good with it. And
me too.
And we'll see.
And they right after the match, they showed the same graphic that they showed before the match, and they had already moved the NXT title over.
To Cross. I didn't catch that.
Yeah. It was the same exact graphic. You could tell the title was just moved over.
Hey, simplicity. But I had this between 3.75 and 4.25. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good title change. We'll have to see where Finn goes from here. I'm not going to speculate. We'll do that. We'll save that for the next show. But here,
because you know how I feel this is going.
Yes.
Because Finn has a title that he hasn't lost, and
similar to Cross here.
Yeah. So I think that
nice tease.
I think that you were very much right. Where Finn Balor can really help the move to Peacock, but after that he has other places to go.
Yep.
So as I go through this match, I'm gonna go more for the intangibles, because you hit all of the points on the actual physicality of the match so well. And one of the intangibles that you did touch on is Finn's cerebral approach to the match. And he put the writing on the wall in his promo leading into the match when he was talking about how Cross fights with emotion. And so he pissed off Karrion Kross. He did that on purpose. Yeah. And of course, like, Karrion Kross blew up and started hitting some nasty shoulders in the corner and stuff like that. And I was thinking, like, you say he's going to make a mistake when he gets angry, but didn't you make a mistake by making him angry? Because you're getting your ass kicked.
I was going to say, just getting his ass kicked.
That he got the opening, and he started working on that arm and the shoulder. And so I was like, is it profitable? We'll see. And, he won a few exchanges, so it seemed like it was profitable. But then the intangible of Karrion Kross is Scarlett. Scarlett calms him down. So we have, Scarlett playing a role on the outside makes an effect on the inside. And then later on, when Finn had that submission, he needed pumping up. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, Scarlett has this weird, creepy chanting.
Yeah.
And then he powers out of the submission. Yeah. And then he starts getting those forearms in. And that was really the beginning of the end.
That was the end.
Scarlett is Karrion Kross's intangible. And I'm here for it because Scarlett is just, man. There's
firecracker.
Yeah. There's very few people who can balance the look and the creepiness and all that, and it all works.
Yeah.
Especially somebody who looks like Scarlett, you know? She is as much of a model as you can get, you know? But then she puts on this creepy look, and it works.
Yes, sir. But
so,
oh yeah, what's your rating on
my
that?
rating on that one is a solid 4 X's, right in the middle of your range.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna settle on that as well. I think I can see people going on the higher side. I can see people going on the lower side.
Same.
I'm gonna stick right in the middle. 4X's perfectly. I mean, it's a must watch regardless. But my friend,
Here we go.
and I have been. You know what? And if anybody wants to at me, this is my friend Takeover Tom, and we have been bringing you Night 1 and Night 2 recap of Stand and Deliver NXT Takeover, the Mania Week kickoff, as we have said that it is. We get. I didn't really want to touch on the hype videos because they're always awesome. We don't have to say anything about that. But what is the question you have to ask me now, Tom? Before I send it to you.
It's time for the
main event. And I'll throw that now after that obligatory little stick there.
Takeover Tom is taking over
Bada bing.
For the main event of main events of Night 2 of NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. We have the unsanctioned match between Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. This is one of the most insane build-ups of story that we've ever had in NXT. We had the heartbreaking implosion of the Undisputed Era. Obviously, I'm a big fan. And then we had the most they got into reality. They touched so many things that, you know, made it feel like these two guys hate each other. Between them getting arrested, trying to run each other off the road, Adam Cole coming into the dojo,
dropping F-bombs all over the place.
Dropping F-bombs, punching out William Regal. This was one of the most heated feuds of the decade, and probably the most heated feud of NXT's history. So there are just so many highlights to this match that we can't go over all of them. They had one theme that went throughout the entire match, though, was those chairs. The chair spots were genius. We had 3, 4, I think, different spots where they were seated in chairs, starting with the double kick from Kyle O'Reilly to Adam Cole seated on the chair on the outside, which we can see here. Of course, everything I'm going to mention here is a Mamma Mia.
Okay.
I'm just because I don't have time to go into the non-Mamma Mias. There's too many Mamma Mias.
Dude, I think that's a great way to go through this match because it was chock-full. Because everything but I'm obviously sorry to interrupt, but like you said, everything before is, if you've been following this feud, you can kind of piece together how the beginning of this match went until we get into all these moments.
Absolutely. They were just beating the absolute crap out of each other. It was just so brutal. And then they get into the chairs. And, we had, after the double kick, it ended up back in the ring. Kyle O'Reilly took a nasty fall from the turnbuckle to the apron to the floor. And the next thing you know, we had Cole putting pressure on the back of Kyle O'Reilly's neck with a chair. That looked like a torture scene. 100% looked like a torture scene. And then Kyle O'Reilly just had a beautiful, it was Ushigoroshi, I believe it's called. And then he dropped Cole through the chair into a submission.
Yep.
It was so smooth. We got a chair spot leading into a heel hook, and if anything is one of Kyle O'Reilly's specialties, it's landing a move into a submission. And he just does it better than everybody else who's ever tried it.
Yeah.
Then we have, later down the line, the next seated chair shot, which was the Shining Wizard.
Yep.
So we have a video of that as well.
Oh.
The Shining Wizard is one of my favorite Impact moves in wrestling as it is. And I also do really enjoy seated chair spots. So this was the best of both worlds for me,
Yeah,
especially with these two guys. Like, That is just a beautiful shining wizard.
And the chair behind him hits his neck on the back of the chair.
And the knee is right where it needs to be. Oh, man. These guys are pros, man. Then Kyle O'Reilly, he's busting out the chain. And that's where some things started getting really brutal. Got a ton of different submission moves with the chain involved. The chain ended up in the figure 4 leg lock. They did the classic reversing of the pressure of the figure 4, which is like they're really taking the influences from the HBKs and the Ric Flairs of the world
sense.
with these matches, man. Especially Adam Cole.
And the story,
Yeah. So I actually wrote, this is just one of those matches where they're just beating the absolute hell out of each other for our entertainment. Okay. And it's just plain and simple. Kyle O'Reilly wrapped the chain around his feet, and he's kicking the crap out of Adam Cole. Man, so many different things. Oh, mamma mia. When Kyle O'Reilly ran the ropes and Adam Cole pulled on that chain, and it was just a legit clothesline.
Ching, check that off for me as well.
Absolutely crazy. Man, the chain got involved in so many different things.
Yeah.
There were, I just can't. I can't go through all these.
I'm here.
There's
I'm here
so
for
many.
you.
I have so many different lines. Like you said, you have like 3 pages.
I did have
notes
about 3
from this
pages
match.
of notes. Yeah.
It was one after another. We had the spot on the outside where Adam Cole was going to do the brainbuster on the stairs. Kyle O'Reilly reversed it, and he hesitated. He wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
He is too good to stoop to Adam Cole's level. And then they end up trading strikes on the table. The brainbuster on the table. I believe we have a video of the brainbuster on the table.
Bang!
Bam! Oh my god. And
didn't break, which I'm sure
the
they
table
both
did not
appreciate.
budge.
Yeah.
Didn't move an inch. Actually, Barrett said immediately, "No give on this announce table for once." And then for once, is oh my God, Barrett, you're so good at what you're doing right now. Because
he's just happy his announce table.
Yeah, the announce table trope is one of the most pure, long-running tropes in the entire history of wrestling.
They don't have the Spanish announce table, so
absolutely. I just love when they're going after the regular announce table when they have a Spanish announce table, and they're like, "Hey, you're on the wrong one." Yep. That's happened like so many times in wrestling history. And so then we get these outside of the ring parts here where Kyle O'Reilly's chasing down Adam Cole, and he just smacked him with a computer monitor.
Oh, that was
oh my God!
That was
and
that was awesome.
He cracked it. And then
big old bulky stuff.
After he smacked him with the computer monitor, the thing that I don't really love seeing comes out, and it's not that I don't love seeing it in a way where I'm like not having fun. It's like I can feel my stomach in my throat, and that is when Adam Cole busted out the toolbox, and then he brought in a pair of pliers. And my note here was nothing good comes from bringing pliers into this. Unless
you're doing some kind of job.
Yeah. And so honestly, like they used them in a way that wasn't super cringy. You know, you just kind of hit them with them. But I appreciated that. And then the tire iron came out, and so I was like, that's a bit better. And then we went into the triangle choke with the chain, and Cole looked like he was going to be out. And the selling was just so good. He collapsed in on himself. The way he was in the seated position just looked like he was out.
Yeah.
And then he grabbed that tire iron and just smacked Kyle O'Reilly in the ribs, which we have again here. This is the end of the triangle choke here.
I mean, that is not a fake tire iron, people.
No, it's not. That is a tire iron.
I know I don't need to say that, but that's an actual tire iron that he just hit another man with in the ribs.
Yes, he did.
Unprotected.
And look at that, man.
Great sell by Kyle. I loved his.
And Cole too. Like you could tell that looks like a last ditch effort, man. Yeah. And he collapses after hitting that. And that's when we really got like, oh my, Kyle O'Reilly's an A+ salesman. We got fight forever chance. Both of these guys' chance. And that's when I reflected again, man, I just am so happy to have fans back because the NXT universe is better than any other crowd in wrestling. Yeah. They have the best aptitude for skill.
Whatever they're saying,
yeah. The fact that it doesn't matter if the guy's a heel. Adam Cole was getting Adam Cole, baby. Just the chorus of it before COVID hit. And obviously now he's just an ultimate heel. So they did not get an Adam Cole, baby on this one. Speaking of which, at the very beginning, we got new music for both of them.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So that was important. And it felt sad when he went to do the boom, but there was no boom, you know. But moving on from that, I had called Cole because he was going to be the dirty fighter. He was going to be the dirtier fighter, rather. And he proved it right there, low blow. And then, oh my God, that super kick. Just nailed him. So stiff. So stiff. And then here come those HBK Triple H influences.
Ref bump?
Puts the chair around his head.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And then the ref bump, what I wrote about that is Cole attacked the ref and then victim blamed. Because he attacks the ref. He hits a beautiful...
He clocked him, too.
He really did.
Bang.
Boom. And then he rains down on him, too. And so he puts the ref out, and then he hits a beautiful Panama Sunrise. He tries to pin Kyle O'Reilly, and the ref's out. And he's like, "You're stupid. You had one job." It's like, why did you knock him out if you needed him to count 3 in 30 seconds? And so I thought that was pretty funny. It was a good heel move. And then, man, chuck the chair. Kyle O'Reilly just chucked that chair right at him. Man, big barricade bumps on the outside. Big barricade bumps. And then we got up to the stage, and we have that guillotine choke, which we have the video going. And this is...
Ooh, I didn't see that coming either.
Man, me neither.
It caught me off guard.
I didn't. I saw him going down. I was just expecting him to land.
Just a regular bump, yeah.
And then bam, right through the stage. And what was really special about this is usually like you have that slow thing where they have to slowly crawl out of the hole, and it usually goes the same way. But Adam Cole got out of that hole, and then he goes to the side of the stage, and he breaks through. It looks like drywall. He breaks through and pulls Kyle O'Reilly out the side of the stage. We've never seen that before. That was new. So then we had just, wow, what exchanges we had towards the end. The moment where, I mean, we had the brainbuster on the stairs, which we can go to now. This was something that we knew we were going to see. You know, they teased Kyle it earlier in the match.
Kyle just crumples into his own self.
This is like the motif for their feud, is that brainbuster on the stairs. That was like when Cole's turning on Kyle O'Reilly was 100% official when he hit that brainbuster. And so it was poetic. They needed to do the callback to that one. But man, from here we had Kyle O'Reilly was selling it like a champion. He could not stand. He got set up for the last shot. Cole goes to hit him, but he just falls.
Yep.
Cole sets him up again, tries to hit the last shot again. This time he dodges. And then he gets into a heel hook. And he freaking Cole clocked Kyle O'Reilly with the chain to get out of the heel hook. So, man, Cole gets all these troublesome moments, but always has a weapon to bring in to get out of it. And then Kyle O'Reilly sets up the last shot, and he nails him.
Yeah.
Kicks out of 2, though. So that was, of course, like, you didn't expect him to beat him with the last shot. Then he wrapped the chair around Cole's leg. That kind of devolved as he was like trying to get the chain on. So then he has the chair flipped upside down. And that looks dangerous as all hell. And so it looked like we were going to see a really ridiculous bump on it. Cole was coming up to the top, and he was getting some leverage over Kyle O'Reilly. But then Cole got his just desserts right in the nuts. because Kyle O'Reilly was not holding back. He hit that low blow right up, and he gets him down, laying down on the chair upside down. He wraps the chain around his leg, and then drops that knee on Adam Cole through that chair. Mama freaking Mia, man.
Oh.
Just absolutely insane. Kyle O'Reilly wins, completing his push, going over Adam Cole.
Baby.
Kyle O'Reilly is an established single star now.
Yeah.
He has bested the man who held him down, who he was in his shadow for so long, and then turned on him when he got his moment in the sun. Kyle O'Reilly is a star.
Yep.
And now he is 100%
Solidified.
legitimized.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
So for everything that it did for his character, for everything we got to see between the two, unique uses of the chairs, classic uses of the chairs, good uses of the chain, it all escalated it. So this match couldn't have been any better, in my opinion. And that's why I gave it 5 X's.
Wow. That is the first of its kind, TakeOver Tom. I don't think
I've given it 5 before.
You have.
Yeah.
Neither myself or Brett have ever given anything 5, but I applaud you first of all. So
I just don't think there's any way that you can improve upon that. How?
I first of all applaud you. Little golf clap there, as people can see. Just, I mean, broke it down. I knew this was. I mean, the way we had it all set up, this was going to be your time to show us. I mean, you had the play-by-play with the ladder match. Obviously, before we
finish, too much in this match. You can't do a play-by-play on it because.
Well, and that's why I
got lost in my notes.
I like that we summed it up at the beginning by, if you know this feud, you kind of knew what you were going to get, but then we kind of had the intricacies added on towards the end. I mean, you said all the Mamma Mias I have. The bump through the stage blew me away.
Can we see it again?
Yeah, can we get that one more
stage
time?
Bump? This is just
because I will say this, because I'm going to give my Mamma Mia first of the show. Oh, we'll see it. I'll give my rating, and then I'll give my match rating, and then I'll give my Mamma Mia. Bang!
Wow.
Both of them came up just shattered. Cole had blood on his hand. Kyle's trunks were ripped, and his back was all beat up. Just nuts. I legitimately, I didn't say Mamma Mia, but I legitimately threw my hands up when I watched it.
Yeah. I was doing that all night.
Yeah.
My arms were tired by the end.
I had this between 4.25 and 4.75.
Okay.
So it came close.
You came real close.
I'm going to settle in the middle.
Okay.
4.5. I think it was the worthy main event. I think I would have been a little bit... The match was good, but I would have been a little bit disappointed if the title match came after this, because how the hell do you follow this? And obviously with the damage they did to the whole arena, it was kind of... had to.
Yeah.
What more can you ask for from 2 nights of wrestling? I couldn't. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. After you listen to us talk about it first. Yeah,
100% must watch.
And then, obviously, you watch it first and then you listen to this, or you listen to this and then you can affirm with how right our takes were, and you can let us know. NXT and we, PJ and Brett with TakeOver Tom for the TakeOver NXT Stand and Deliver Night 1 and 2 recap, as we just did. So, Tom, we've reached the end. I guess all that's left to do is, first of all, thank you. Just wanted to make sure I say it now just in case I forgot. This has been amazing, so much fun.
Yeah.
I look forward to having you back as much as we do with TakeOver Time, Inquisition, takeovers, and whatnot as we grow this whole shebang. Like I said, my Mamma Mia was what we just watched for this show. The bump to the stage. It's hard to find something that made me flip out that much. I think the ladder match had 4 in a row that were close. So I could see people going, if that's the direction you're going to go, no gripes from me. But I'm going to go with the main event bump to the stage, the biggest of the night, I guess you could say.
I'm going to go with the upside down chair. The knee off the top.
The ending. Yeah.
The
I
ending.
love the chain part too, by the way.
It looks so brutal.
And you had said,
the upside down chair looks so dangerous.
It took a lot for Kyle to use weapons in this match, and then he finally said, I have to.
Yeah.
The low blow and then the chain. So, all right, so there's that. And what did you have? What did you end up giving this show night 2 for a rating?
I gave night 2 4.75 X's.
Oh, okay. So it was a bump
it
ahead.
It elevated it from night 1 just a tad, in that we had that really fantastic 1-2 punch with the NXT title match and the unsanctioned match.
Shout out Oni Lurkin
and yeah, it's just man, what a show! What a show!
Can you do that whistle one more time? Yep, that's exactly what those 2 shows were. Yeah, I ended up going, and some may call it a cop-out. I really don't care. It's because it's my show, and I'm going to say what I want to say. So I ended up settling 4.25.
Mm-hmm.
Same. It's like it's picking. I don't have children, but I imagine it's like picking your favorite child,
Right.
and it's tough to do. So, I'm sure some people can tell us that it's different, but that's how I'm viewing it here. 4.25. They're both must-watch. Upon a rewatch, I think that number could go up, and there's no way it goes down. So,
do you have an overall event rating?
Ooh, for the 2 total?
Yeah, because I went 4.75 for the 2 total because I mean,
I would go 4.75. Yeah,
the ending of it elevated everything.
yeah, I'd go for it. It was just it was a tad below perfect between the 2 of them.
Because I was asking myself, how are they going to beat this, and they did. So it just goes to show that they're really making fantastic top of the line entertainment.
The black and gold standard, as coined by TakeOver. Tom, here it is, my friend. I guess all that's left to do is tell the people thank you for watching, listening. You can find us all over social media, NXT_podcast on Twitter, NXT and We on Facebook, NXT and We on Instagram. You can email us, NXTandWe@gmail. Where can they find you, Tom? Or do you want to direct them to NXT or whatever else you have?
For now, follow NXT and We everywhere you can. I've got some big things coming up. We're going to have some branding coming out. You're going to see some great things coming. Next time I'm on the show, I'll probably have a little bit more to talk about with that. Hopefully some social media to share. But we are going to see.
Cooking.
So, we're here in NXT and We. You choose NXT and We because
we are NXT.
What you guys all have come here for, what you expect, and that's NXT Talk, the best NXT Talk you will find on any platform.